Hi buddies, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanishka and I welcome you all with warm hugs. In this video, I'm going to share with you 9 tips to learn anything faster. If you want to access the free guide on how we can learn anything faster, make sure to stick around till the end. Timestamps are included down in the description box so you can navigate the video, but I would recommend you watching every tip because each and every one is crucial. Let's dive in. Tip number 1 is to create a distraction-free study space. So here we are mainly talking about sanctity of space, and I already explained about sanctity of space in one of my previous videos, which you can check out anywhere here on the cards or down below in the description box. But the main idea here is to dedicate one specific space or one specific area just for studying, keeping in mind that that particular area is distraction free. It allows you to actually get automatically into that zone of studying whenever you sit down on a desk or on the floor to study. Now, once you actually automatically get into that zone of studying, you focus better. And once you start focusing better, you save a lot of time for studying. So that was all about creating a distraction-free study area or space, and why is it important. Now, the second tip is nothing else but sharpen your axe. Here's a story for you. There was a strong woodcutter who got a job from a timber merchant. The pay and work conditions were good. The woodcutter was determined to do his best. Boss gave him an axe and showed him where to work. On the first day, the woodcutter brought down 18 trees. Boss was impressed and said, "Congratulations, keep it up." And now, motivated by the boss's words, he started working more and more harder, but could cut down only 15 trees. And the next day, he tried more harder and he cut down 10 trees. And the next day, he tried his best, but still got down very few trees. The woodcutter thought that he was losing his strength. He apologized to the boss and said he doesn't know what is going on. Boss asked when was the last time that the woodcutter sharpened his axe, and the woodcutter replied that there was no time for him to sharpen the axe. He was too busy in cutting down the trees. The boss said, "You need to sharpen your axe to maintain your consistency." If you don't buy this fairy tale, you will probably believe a famous personality. "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." This is a quote, a very famous quote by Abraham Lincoln. It basically talks about the power of preparation, and I'll explain you this in very few words. Basically, when we are learning something for the first time or we are about to learn something, it is very important for us to know its basics. When I'm about to learn something, I make sure that I am aware of the previous topics which are related to the topic which I'm about to learn. I actually take a look at the previous topics which are related to the topic I am about to learn, which means I am bridging the gap between what I already know and what I'm about to learn. Tip number 3 is the use of past year papers. After you have prepared for a chapter, before getting started to study the chapter, I want you to take a look at the past year papers of the particular subject and see what are the most important questions, what are the most repeated questions from that particular chapter. You can check out as many question papers as you want, but I would recommend you going for just 7 years paper. That is more than enough. Another important thing is that I note down the number of topics, the list of topics from which the questions were being asked on a particular chapter in the last 7 years. And these topics are going to be the most important topics from a particular chapter, and when you're studying the chapter, you will start with these most important topics. This helps you save a lot of time rather than going through the chapter as it is given to you. Tip number 4 is to identify your weak links. When you start working on exactly what we don't know, you automatically master the entire course. You know what? It is really very tempting to start with what we already know in the chapter rather than going to the topics at which we are weak. I feel like this is completely wrong. Reason being that you actually learn something, you truly learn something when you focus on the weak parts that you don't know rather than focusing on what you already know. I'll give an example. I am really weak at physical chemistry, and on the other hand, inorganic is better for me as compared to physical chemistry. So when it comes to studying chemistry in general, I'll dedicate more time to physical chemistry, solving questions on physical chemistry rather than giving my focus on inorganic and organic the most. This means I am already good at organic and inorganic, and now that I'm dedicating a lot of time, a lot of hard work on physical chemistry, which means I am making my physical chemistry strong enough. My physical chemistry was a problem, but now that I'm fixing it, which means I am not pissed off at any of these. Tip number 5 is the magic of mnemonics. You know what? Mnemonics are a great way to remember things a lot faster. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have a mnemonic for the first 18 elements of periodic table. It is really very difficult to remember all the elements from the periodic table. So if you use mnemonics, it will take you very less time to remember all those elements, and it is a lot of fun using the mnemonics. So here is the mnemonic for the first 18 elements of periodic table. Happy Harry lives beside Boron Cottage, near our friend Nellie, Nancy, Meg, Allen. Silly Patrick stays close and Alex kisses Camilla. So it takes really less time and less effort to remember such difficult information in your brain, and this is not something which you can understand properly. There is a lot of memorization needed into it, but also a lot of understanding needed. You can see there's a blend of memorization and understanding, and only then we use mnemonics. There is a mnemonic for something in chemistry, but you can use mnemonics for anything and everything that you want. Tip number 6 is to stop scheming and look out for keywords. Let's take the example of chemistry once again. So when I am studying a chapter in chemistry, so what I'll do is, let's say there is a lot of text into the textbook in 2 pages of, let's say, a chapter atomic structure. So I look out for the keywords that are there in the text, which will help me understand the entire text without actually going very deep into the text. When you don't understand something from the entire chapter, let's say there are a few topics which you don't understand. For example, for me, from atomic structure, the chapter atomic structure, wave particle duality is really difficult to understand. So what I'll do is I'll search for videos on internet on wave particle duality to just understand wave particle duality rather than going through the entire chapter into videos. So rather than actually searching videos for the entire chapter explaining atomic structure entirely, I'll just search for the topics or concepts which I don't understand, saving a lot of time for me to watch the video. Another thing is that many of us do this mistake of reading through the text without actually taking an active understanding of the particular text, and those active understanding can only be taken if you take a look at the keywords very carefully. Tip number 7 is to read it aloud. Now, this tip is something that my mom told me for the first time. Whenever you are reading something or trying to understand it, read it aloud on yourself. So when you're reading, you're hearing yourself again, and hearing somehow makes it easier for you to remember as well as understand the concept. Hearing yourself repeat the information helps you remember it easier and hence accelerates the process of understanding. In short, it makes the understanding and remembering process faster. Number 8 is to use the FEYNMAN technique. The University of Washington St. Louis states that if you imagine that you need to explain to someone else the material you're learning, it can speed up your learning. Which means FEYNMAN technique actually helps you to understand the concept a lot faster rather than only understanding the concept. Number 9, or the last tip, is revision is the key. Learning can be made faster and easier, but if you don't remember the information for a long time, it's probably of no use. Basically, there is this concept of forgetting curve, which was discovered by a guy named Hermann Ebbinghaus in the 1800s. And this forgetting curve simply tells us that memory decays over time. That is, when we learn something, we tend to forget it over a period of time. Hence, revision, revisiting a concept or topics is important, and I do this by using spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is a concept where you revise a material in spaced intervals in order to encode the information in your long-term memory. But the question here is, how do we actually revise? Well, there is this very simple answer to this. Do you remember tip number 4 where I asked you to identify your weak links there? The secret about revision. Revision is not taking a look at all the topics from that particular chapter. Revision is looking back at the topics which you have forgotten or you have missed, or you are weak at. A very simple method of doing it. While you are studying the chapter, not in revision, but for the first time, you are supposed to make questions out of each and every topic and answer those questions from the topic itself. And when you are actually revising the concept or the chapter, the parts which you do not understand, go through those questions and answer to those questions without looking at its original answer. Once you have answered the question on your own, take a look at the original answer and see whether you are wrong or right. This is the Q&A form of active recall, and active recall, as I told you, is one of the best way to remember, understand any concept, anything that you want. Question which might pop up in your brain is that how do we identify the concept which we have forgotten or missed? Well, we can do this by another way of executing our active recall, that is the method of blurting. I explained the method of blurting in one of my previous videos, which you can check out. But in brief, you basically blurt out the information from your brain. You squeeze the information from your brain onto a paper from a particular chapter. Let's say I am selecting a chapter, and I will be writing down each and everything I remember from a particular chapter into a white sheet. The things which I don't remember, I'll leave space for it. And then I'm going to take a look back at my notes. I'll compare those two things, my blurting paper and my notes, and I'll see what are the topics I have missed. I will be writing down those topics from my notes into my blurb paper using a different colored pen. And now when I'm revising, I will only take a look at the information, the topics which are written in a different colored pen. Summarizing it, while you are revising, you only need to answer to those questions which you have made while you were studying the chapter, and also take a look at the different colored concepts from the blurb paper. Now, as I have promised you a free guide on how to learn things faster, there is a PDF which has everything written into it in a written format, and it is absolutely free. You get access to the PDF. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, comment an emoji of a book in the comment section, and finally send me the screenshot of your comment in the comment section of YouTube video through my Insta handle. I will send you the PDF through my Instagram. Before you depart, I would like to remind you to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell and set it to all, and also do not forget to hit the like button. Do let me know in the comments if you like this video and if it's helpful or not. Share this video with friends or family, whoever needs this. And you can follow me on Instagram. My Insta handle is this, and it will appear down below in the description box as well. You can access the link, or you can send me an email to my email address there in the description box. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Very serious.